Hello and welcome back to my channel. I apologise it's been so long since I've uploaded. I've recently gone back into full-time work and I'm still trying to get back into a routine of doing things. But today I'm going to be talking about a 1000 point league that I'm now part of. I'm just showing random pictures from LGT while I go over the rules of the league and what's happening. So I've entered with Berserker Warband, World Eaters. It's 1000 point league, as I've said, and the only restrictions for list building is you have to stay with the same detachment that you entered. You can't swap the detachment or the army, but you can change the list as much as you want between games. No epic characters 200 points and over, basically to stop people taking Angron, Magnus, Catan shards, stuff like that, because at 1000 points it's not overly balanced, and no Titanic units for the same reason, basically. So, yeah, my first game was against Adeptus Mechanicus using the Hallow Screed Battle Clade, which is a lot harder to say than I thought it would be, and I should have practiced that beforehand. So, 1000 points of World Eaters, I was really struggling to put a list together for, but in the end, I kind of went, well, how many bodies can I fit in a 1000 point list? And I came up with this, which is Khan the Betrayer, 4 lots of 10 Berserkers, a unit of Jackals, and a unit of Spawn. And that is 1000 points of World Eaters. Um, I think it's 995. I would need to double check, but it's along those lines. Um, I was tempted to do a unit of 20 Berserkers, 3 lots of 10, and then Khan, but then that would be my entire list, which I'd end up having to sit one on my home objective anyway. So I figured it's better drop one, take Spawn, take the Jackals. I can do a bit more of the list kind of thing. But overall, the list went works really well. Uh, like there will definitely be bad matchups, but trying to deal with 420 wound blobs, well 320 wound blobs, one of them's got Khan, so 25, and obviously Khan stands back up, so even if you kill him, he could just sit straight back up, and then you've got to deal with him again, and Khan is a big threat just on his own, especially being damage 3. What you can see here was this was end of the first turn. Sorry, end of the first battle round. So I moved up Khan and the Berserkers to the midboard. As my opponent moved, I cannot remember their names. Basically, transport down, they had a load of infantry. He had a melee unit, which ended up moving into the ruin that Khan's currently stood on. And then along the right side, he was just trying to barricade me. But due to a blood surge, I managed to tag. It was 2 different units. I got the melee unit that had pushed up, and I tagged the transport. Destroyed the melee unit. Then the transport was 1 or 2 wounds. I'm going to say 1 wound because I tend to leave things on 1 wound. It's just a recurring theme. But this was Terraform, was the mission, which I should have said earlier, but here we are. I'm not great with Mechanicus names, so I'm just going to say what I see. So in this case, looking at this picture, it's little battle line dudes, because I don't know their name. But he also had the robot chicken looking things that were more durable than I expected. But it was the something destroyers, the little guys on treads, basically. They were a lot scarier than I thought they were going to be, and it's my fault for not asking, but I assumed they were going to be vehicles. And then it was when he moved them up, he just moved them through a wall, and I was like, "Oh, can they do that?" And you went, "Yeah, they're infantry." I was like, "Oh, oh, okay." Um, but no, they were definitely his best unit. Like they were near impossible to kill. So they had like a once per game 4-up invulnerable as well, which massively stunted my damage output. But I, for the most part, the way this game went, and I think a lot of the league is gonna go like this. It was just I closed the gap a lot quicker than he expected me to, and then couldn't deal with me because I'd taken out. I'm not entirely sure, but I'd say at least a third of his army turn one. I'm not exactly sure about Mechanicus points wise, but it was definitely over a third of his models just in the first turn. Second turn, I had taken the left side of the board, and then the picture on screen now is the beginning of turn 3, I believe, where he had Crawl left, which you can see behind the building at the back. Those destroyers that I was talking about with a leader, some sort of tech priest, and one of his battle line units left. This this is the picture after my turn 3. Or no, sorry, this was turn 4. So I'd killed the destroyers, got onto his home, he'd pushed Crawl down and got rid of my spawn, so he was now holding that objective. But the LGT dice that I've left there shows I left that to show Terraform, just because I forgot my tokens to show it, so I just checked a dice on it instead. So yeah, at this point he had Crawl and that one battle line guy with a gun. It was some sort of precision sniper kind of thing. But yeah, it. Oh, this was the last picture I took. Basically, it ended with Crawl coming over to Khan. We let them have a little duel. Crawl got very unlucky and only wounded like twice. Khan then turned around and dealt, I think it was like 21 wounds to him. So that was a bit of a beatdown. But to any of you that still remember what I was doing with Khan, I've got my own kill counter for him, and I'm trying to get one epic hero from each faction by the end of the edition. So, adding Crawl to that, obviously an epic character, he's pretty much their Primarch equivalent. So, we've now got Mechanicus ticked off, which I will go through in a minute, because I believe we've got quite a few different ones now. This was the end of the game. This is the scorecard. I am going to stop recording for a moment. I will find the list and tell you which factions I've got it for. So for orcs, we've killed Gaz 3 times. Nurgle demons, we got a great unclean one, which I'm going to count because the only other one would be Rotigus, but they're near enough the same. Celeste Shebans, we got Keeper Secrets, again, same argument. Space Marines, we've killed Gulliman. Drakari, we've killed Lilith and Drazza. Necrons, we've got the Nightbringer. Gene Stealer Cults, we got an Abominant. I don't think that's a named character. I think that's just a character. But please do correct me if I'm wrong. Blood Angels, we got Dante. Death Guard, we've got Typhus. Tau, we've got Commander Farsight and Shadow Sun. World Eaters, we've got Angron. Grey Knights, we've got Castilian Crow. Chaos Space Marines, we've got Abaddon. Thousand Suns, we've got Araman. Chaos Knights, we've got 2 Despoilers. So that's as close as we can get for Chaos Knights because they don't actually have a named character yet. So yeah, it's not bad. There's obviously more than just that, because I write down everything that Khan kills, but they're just the main standout ones. But back to the league, there are a lot of marine players, whether that be a form of Chaos Marines like Thousand Suns, World Eaters, Emperor's Children, or some form of Loyalist Marine. I'm relatively confident into Marines. Just we have a lot of damage 2 and 3 output, but as it stands, the next person I go against will be the Raven Guard player using the new detachment, which is quite worrying. But we will see what happens. Now, advertising is going to be Thick Daddy Paints again. He's got his own commission service. I highly recommend him. Here's some of the World Eaters that he painted for me. He has also started 3D printing, which you can see here. The helmets on the 8 bound were 3D printed, and the Juggernaut bases on the other slide were actually 3D printed as well, just to make it easier than trying to buy all the bases separately. It's also a lot cheaper. So if you have any ideas at all, send him a message. I will have his links in the description, like I normally did. If you remember back to when I was using my Chaos Knights, he also painted my Lancer. It's the same guy as before. I've never had any problems with him, and he's more than happy to talk through whatever you've got in mind with you, and then you can work out something together. So definitely, if you're thinking of something, send him a message. He has asked me to say that he is filling up fast for slots, so if you do want something done, it's probably better to message sooner rather than later, and you can get a rough approximation for how long it's going to take, or if it's a priority thing, make sure you give him a deadline and you can try and work that out between you. But thank you for watching. You can message me anywhere because I've got my own links in the description, and I'll see you next time.